Now it's time for the open hour, a time set aside 3 nights a week at more or less this time for timely programs in the field of public affairs. Tonight, KPFA presents One Night in Newark, a program we've just received from WBAI in New York. It is made up of on-the-spot recordings and eyewitness reports of last week's Newark uprising.
Sporadic gunfire has broken out immediately across the street from the hospital. I'm now following 3 Newark City policemen into the area where the shooting occurred. Difficult to determine where the fire is coming from. There are tracer bullets arcing across the sky. Police reinforcements arrived. Firing has broken out again. The whole scene is incomprehensible, absurd.
I want to assure the people of Newark that I recognize the need for the speedy transfer of control of the situation from state law enforcement agencies to those of the community.
New Jersey Governor Richard Hughes.
With the assistance of responsible community leaders. Nobody has a greater desire than I for the return of peace and order here in Newark. We're all working toward this end.
Governor Hughes' position is that any measure of force is necessary if snipers are involved.
Tom Hayden, activist.
That he declares all-out war against the snipers. Now, there's a lot of doubt in our minds whether or not the charge of snipers is fabricated. Most people that I have talked to, and I've been through the community and living in the community, know of no snipers, although there are a number of people armed, and in the early part of the riot, a lot of bricks and bottles were thrown from the roofs of the housing projects. But the widespread feeling, the consensus in the community, is that the charge of snipers is at worst a fabrication, and at best something that a faction in the police department is using to justify the widespread shooting into buildings, shooting of people on the street, which we think is in retaliation for the death of a police officer the other day.
Pacifica Radio presents One Night in Newark, a documentary montage study of one night of the Newark Riots of July 1967.
I was down on the ground.
You were down on the ground where?
In my house. My mother and them, they was down there too.
What did you think it was at first?
What I think it was? I know it was riot squad. They shot a 10-year-old kid for looking out the window.
You mentioned that some community leaders, they said that there were cases of needless violence. Did you tell us anything about the types of things that they told you that may have said? Shooting out windows, unnecessarily roughness on arrests and things of that nature. Have there been vigilantes reported by police, or are these just citizen complaints? No, I have heard occasional statements about people becoming officious and talking about guns, and they'd help the police and so forth. But these are only things that are apt to happen, and I want to issue a very stern warning against them happening, because there are laws against that sort of usurpation of the law enforcement function, too. Pardon?
Have you heard these statements from the police? Is that sort of...
Yes.
Have you been shot at?
Yeah. First night we got out here, Friday night. Sniper fire. We were on a truck coming through the town. Snipers hit us. That's about it. That was about a half hour.
Did they get any of you?
No. Didn't injure anybody.
Did you shoot back?
Yeah. Just a few rounds.
Did you get anybody?
No, they didn't find him. That's the trouble. They're not finding the sniper.
What do you think about the whole business that's been happening the past few days?
Well, you know, it's nothing but nonsense, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, baby Jane? Now, you know, well, the devil started. The devil started it. So the Negroes gonna finish it. But no, the devil gonna finish it. Cause the devil got the heat over here. And we don't jive. But the Negroes, they'll throw a brick in a minute. Know what I mean, baby Jane? But we gotta quit. We gotta stop right now. Devils is out of sight. They got the heat, and they brung the Air Force. That's why we losing. And if they wouldn't have brung the paratroopers, we would have won.
What do you want to win?
We want to win. We want to win some freedom, justice, and equality. You know what I mean? You know, these people out here is something else. See, the devil took from us what we had. Now we trying to get it back.
A conflict between the races, as such, is unthinkable and must be avoided at all costs. I'm confident that the great majority of residents of Newark think of themselves first as Americans, not as white or black. Men of both races were created by God in His own image, and their lives should be lived in peace and brotherhood.
All night long, they were up with it. Till 8 o'clock next morning, they were up with it. They're beautiful people. But they were afraid of the people 4 blocks away from them. They just keep them away from us. So, I don't know what the answer is. All I know is that it had to happen here. And Newark wasn't prepared for it. Newark somehow fooled themselves into thinking that they could get away, they could get by it because of their giveaway program. And you never do it that way.
So you think it's the police?
Yeah. It's not that simple. You know?
Well, yeah.
I think it's a big contributing factor. I do.
Well, is the welfare program that good?
From what I hear, they have something like a 1-hour welfare program. You move into town, you can go on it immediately. No waiting period whatsoever. It shouldn't be. By all means, because somebody can die, you know, while he's waiting to be eligible. He or she. I don't know what the answer is, because it's a different society. It really is. Watch kids grow up and turn through what I honestly think from little gentlemen into animals out of necessity. Out of necessity. Because if they kept their manners, I've seen them where they have their manners, it's a split personality type of thing. The way the situation demands.
Nice, huh?
You've got to be able to survive here.
Let's go in.
You got to be tough to survive.
You tell the news reporters at the station that I'll kill a couple with some bricks. Nah, man.
You don't really think it's helpful to kill people?
No, I don't got nothing to do with killing. All you got to do is do it and you know it's over with.
No, I didn't mean that you might. But...
I won't kill nobody. Just when you try to kill me.
Right.
Now, if you try to kill me, I'm going to have to kill every white man get in my way.
Right.
I don't jive about that, you know what I mean? See, I'm a stone man, you know what I mean?
Do you think that most of the trouble is because of... Well, no, I mean, do you think it's because of a particular situation? Or did something happen in town?
I'll tell you why.
Everybody's fed up with it?
Well, everybody's fed up. That's what it is. You know what? Now y'all, you know, we goes in the store. You go in the store, it costs you $1,000 for a slab of bacon.
Amen.
Am I right or wrong, people?
Yeah.
All right. You know what I mean? So we ain't got no money. Now just give me running room. I don't care. Because you know y'all done took a So see, we got tired. we got tired, so we took what we wanted. And if they had some more stove left, we'd take what the rest they had. You know what I mean?
To understand the situation in Newark, you have to understand that it has gone through two stages. The first stage, Wednesday and Thursday, was characterized by wide-scale looting and damage to stores strictly within the Negro community. And almost every store was wiped out in a complete job of destruction, with very few people injured.
I went out to walk my dog. And I was standing in the back. I heard glass smashing, so I ran to the front to see what was going on. I saw about 5 patrol cars with National Guard, not National Guard, with state troopers, and they had a big truck of National Guardsmen behind them with guns and everything. So they had 2 National Guard on each side of South Orange Avenue they were using the butts of their weapons to knock out windows.
Just breaking them?
Just breaking them.
You mean they're just walking on the streets, breaking windows?
Yeah, and they had the rifles pointed up like they were ready to shoot anything that moved.
What time is this?
About 11:30.
Is it possible there may have been snipers in those buildings?
They were all locked. Everything was closed. The same way they shot up the Muslim temple down there. All the stores that they broke glass out of, when they finished doing that, they came back and shot in them all down there.
Where was the Muslim temple?
Where they're located? Yeah. On South Orange Avenue, right up from Bergen Street. Between Bergen Street and Camden Street. There's so many bullet holes in that place you can't even count them. I was afraid to go down the street to see what was happening, but all I could hear was shotgun blasts.
This police brutality has got to go. It's not right. There is no reason for any policeman to handcuff a man and whoop this man, because the man is automatically helpless when they have him handcuffed. Why should they whoop him? Yes, sir.
Do you mean brutality before the trouble
Before
started?
this trouble started,
Right.
That's what it started on, police brutality.
That's right. Because
That's what it started on.
taking the folks down in headquarters and whoop them to death. Down there in a house somewhere down there, basement or somewhere, in the sound wall down there and tearing it and whooping them, right?
Does that happen most of the time?
Most of the time, all the time. Every time that
Practically all the time. When they pick up a colored person around here somewhere, the first thing they do, they don't take them and put them in a car like they should do a person. The first thing they do is grab him and start whooping on him like he's some kind of dog or animal or something. And that's not right. It's not right at all.
Do you know of people that have officially complained about police brutality?
Well, tell the truth, no. I haven't actually heard anyone complaining about it. I wouldn't lie about this. But there's things I've seen there out of my own eyes. And black has happened. And I have seen it happen. And the cops come there and don't do nothing but whoop the guy up and throw him out or even take him to jail.
If a person that was treated that way went to the police department and made an official complaint, do you think they get satisfaction?
No, it wouldn't do no good because he's paying off downtown.
they would just throw it out.
He's paying off downtown just like quite a few of them around here.
Okay, thank you.
Today, concerned leaders of both the Negro and white community, representing a very broad spectrum of philosophy and moral persuasion, as well as leading civic and business groups, met with me and brought to me allegations of misconduct and needless violence on the part of police and military personnel upon innocent citizens in the riot area of Newark. I want to make it crystal clear at the outset that I have not prejudged the truth or falsity of these allegations. But in that connection, I think we should remember that although the last few days of extreme tension and violence have been most trying for all of us, I have full faith that reasonable restraint will continue to be exercised by all law enforcement officers carrying out their difficult and dangerous responsibilities. If the allegations previously alluded to or any other that I subsequently received are determined to be true, After a full and complete investigation, then adequate disciplinary action will be taken. At the same time, as difficult as the situation has been, I want to warn very seriously any persons who might be disposed to set up their own vigilante groups that any intermeddling with law enforcement by such groups will be dealt with severely, for I remain firm in my belief that law enforcement belongs in the hands of those responsible for it under the law.
If you ask me my opinion on what's going on, it's not too good. It makes it very hard for the Negro. And here we are, trying to get ahead, and something like this comes along and just tears it all the way down. If I could see if you're trying to get ahead, this is the wrong way of doing it. If you want to get back at the white people, you boycott them. Just don't buy at their stores. Buy at all Negro stores. They did it in Mississippi and it worked. Why can't it work here? But it's just that I think that you have no...
Well, there are still things that the whites are still the people who do most of the manufacturing in this country.
Definitely, but still, I think there's enough stores in Newark where you can buy stuff. But in order to accomplish something, you have to do it out sometimes.
Do you blame Mayor Adonisio for any of this trouble?
To a certain respect, yes.
In what respect?
Well, since I've been here in Newark...
How long is that?
It's about 2-3 years. The Negro has grievances, and he doesn't listen. I think he listens to him in a way, but he doesn't take heed to him. He doesn't pay him any mind. And these people here are just sick and tired of it.
What kind of grievances?
I don't know exactly what type of grievances. Housing, police brutality, and this I have seen myself.
What kind of... Could you give me an example of the police brutality which you have seen?
Sure, I've seen them just snatch guys, just throw them in the car. I've seen them all. Must have been about a month or 2 months ago. They grabbed some boy and said, "Yeah, you did it, nigga. You did it. You know you did it." And slapped him and pushed him in the car. Last night they were shooting up all the Negro stores that had Soul Brother on it. A friend of mine owns a store down the street, and he was in the store, plus his family was in the store. And the bullet went through the window. He had a cash register. Next to the cash register, there was a plate glass. Went through the plate glass, plus it went through some other parts of the store.
It was a bullet fired by one of the Newark police?
Sure it was. And I know for a fact that it's not the state troopers because they're not the state troopers, the National Guard, because they're not out here to hurt anyone. I noticed, I was out here Thursday night observing what was going on. And the police, the kids would break into something, and the police would come by real fast, and they'd slow down, and they'd keep on going. All right, since they had the National Guards out here, the other night I saw 2 youths. They were talking back to the guard. And just out of nowhere, about 7 state trooper cars came up. And the police jumped out and said, "If they give you any trouble, just shoot them." And I don't understand it. All of a sudden, they've got a lot of nerve since they've had the militia out here. And I really think it's too much, really.
Now, as far as the troopers and so forth, that is the main thing now. That's the main thing.
In other words, you think that the troops should be taken from the city?
That is correct. But when they take the troops, it's going to fly up again.
Why?
Because they sent the wrong troops in. Now, I'll be frank with you. I'm an Army man. I've been an Army man in World War II, and I know what it is. A white man can control a colored person to a certain extent. If a colored man comes in, a colored man can control him all the way. They can get along together. But the white man comes in with a shotgun over a colored man, that's when it's going to stir up again. Now, I'll be frank with you. I mean, there's no ifs and ands about it. I mean, straight from the shoulders. I mean, put it on the line where it's supposed to be.
Well, why do you think the people got mad in the first place? Why do you think the trouble started?
Well, this is something that has been brewing a long time. It didn't just start. It's been going on a long time. It's been in the works. But the least spark could have started it, and that's what it did. When this cab driver, the Italian guys, the cops, they were Italian. They were supposed to be bad and that. And then they got this guy, they worked him over, and that started right in the night. That's it. See? But as long as them troops stay here, they're going to have snipers and different ends and so forth. I have a little unit. but that it's not involved no kind of way, no shape, form, or fashion. But get the troops out, and the city can come back to normal, and everything will be all right. But as long as those troops stay here, it's going to be rough.
Withdraw the troops, the National Guard units, and the state and Newark police force from the ghetto, and let the people in the ghetto restore law and order.
My name is Robert Hall. I'm a special police officer in the state of New Jersey. And I was out here last night. I was stationed at a checkpoint at High in Springfield Avenue. Everything was going pretty good until about 10 o'clock. We got a sniper. And I tell you, my people, which I am colored myself, is doing what they're doing is definitely wrong. They're not doing anything but hurting themselves, but hurting other people. People that work in these different stores. It's not right. I would say it's definitely not right. Because you're hurting innocent people. You're shooting firemen off the wagon. What you trying to put out fire? You killed the captain last night. What are they trying to prove? This I can't understand.
What do you think the people are mad about?
Tell you the truth, brother, I don't know. I really can tell you what they're mad about. Well, they say one thing is about a cab driver, and another instance, which I can't actually tell you.
Well, I talked to some people that said that they think there has been too much police brutality in this area. Do you think that's true?
Well, actually, I can tell you definitely, like I say, like police brutality, because sometimes you have to use force when there is force. When you do a job, when a policeman do a job, and like say helping someone else that's in trouble, they do a beautiful job. When they go up there and tell somebody to move or stop doing this or stop doing that, and have to use a little bit of force to do this, then you're wrong. That's not fair. Well, you're out of here now, you're getting shot at. State troopers getting shot. The guardsmen getting shot. That's not right. They're helping us. We're trying to make another Korea or Vietnam. It's not right at all. That's how I feel about the situation, and I'm pretty sure. How about these people that don't have any food in their house? Now, there's a lot of innocent people that haven't had anything. Not gonna get, in fact, they probably won't get anything. You know what I'm saying? And those that hear this or whatever hear it, they know darn well I'm telling the truth. Because you got a lot of people who got babies out here. People getting shot on the street. That's not right. Now, if you can shoot, you shoot. Now, if I fire my gun right now, say, well, I can hit this target. I can't say I can hit this target. It could be wrong. And if they just straighten up because they do hurting the dogs up, they put everybody out of work. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What do you think the people are mad?
Well, I would say that if I was to have my own opinion, I would say that they are agitators. They are agitators because I think I wouldn't like to go out, as you would say, too far out on a limb. But I would say, as Governor Hughes spoke today, it's another group that is, I think, that has actually taken over.
Governor, would you be able to elaborate on your charge that, or your belief that some of these snipers are a member of some kind of criminal organization?
Well, the thing speaks for itself. We lawyers used to have a term like that, res ipsa loquitur.
Like he said, they hate America. They can't say that they hate the white man in the United States. I actually don't think that is the way he had it. If they hate the United States, they hate America. They hate the laws that they made. And a lot of people say that you got two different set of laws, the white man law and the black man law. I don't think that is so. I would almost be certain that that is not so because, like I've talked to a lot of people, if you visit the different prisoners and jails, you will find almost as many whites as you would black in prison and in the county jails and whatnot. And you just can't say that the white man is doing this. Like the special police said, we're hurting our own cause by this right here.
Thank you.
Are you familiar at all with any of the welfare programs? Do you know anyone who's on welfare?
I know a lot of people on welfare, but I don't know. I couldn't, quote their names.
Yeah, well, I don't want names, but have they complained about it?
Well, the one or two that I have spoke to said, I talked to a young lady that was on welfare. I asked her why was she on welfare. This is what she quoted to me, that she tried to get a job. She couldn't get a job anywhere. I think she had 2 kids. and her boyfriend or her husband, I don't know, he had went someplace, and she couldn't get a job anyplace. So therefore, she had to apply help from someplace, and I don't blame the people around here. And from what has happened, like I said, it's the wrong way of doing it, but what else are they going to do?
Reverend Harry Spellman.
And your church?
I'm Director of Public Relations for the Churches of Christ for the state of New Jersey. And we have several churches in Newark. So I'm concerned wherever our churches are as Director of Public Relations.
Are you affiliated with the United Church of Christ?
No. Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, Bishop Lawson.
I'd like to work this one along. You can go ahead. You have churches in the affected area, though.
Right.
And you, sir?
Reverend James E. Myers of St. Michael's Baptist Church.
Hi, Deputy.
Newark.
Is it within the affected area?
It is definitely in the affected area.
Where does the Central Ward area of Newark stand this morning? How are you going to regain your sense of sanity?
When you say your sense, who are you referring to when you say your sense? I think it involves everybody. Not just me or you, but it's the people, period. I believe there's room for improvement from the level that everybody can sit down and talk the thing over and come to a different understanding as to what viewpoints are, what can be done, what should be done, what has been done, and what hasn't been done. It's as simple as that.
But now looking around us is a complete ruin. Nobody gained.
Right.
Why did this have to happen?
Well, if I may, I think first, before we go into the essence of why it had to happen, I think the most interesting point now is to rebuild a city that has been torn up. And you asked the question as to where do we go from here. I think the first thing that we will have to do as clergymen and as citizens of the city is to regroup our families that has been separated. This is the first and most important need. Then we must feed our people of the city, and this is all races, that has been denied food and medicine and the attention that is necessary. Then the problem of rebuilding and to reopen our businesses comes next. And from there we must go, as Reverend Spaulding said, to the conference table to see what can be done to be sure that this does not happen again in our city.
Have any of the members of your churches come to you and said, "We're sorry this all happened"?
Well, from the standpoint of a Christian, I think everybody is sorry. If they have any Christian spirit in them at all, I think everybody is sorry. White, black, all sorts. And then there's no such person as an altogether bad person. I think even those that would have it in mind mischief themselves are sorry. As a pastor, as a Christian leader, I think anybody with any sense at all, any humility at all, that feels that this is more than anybody would ever want to see. So I think it's a case where we can all sit down and need to revamp and go over and find out. Sometimes people holler brutality, holler discrimination. Sometimes it's a matter of thinking. It's a matter of understanding. Sometimes we sit down, maybe. Sometimes people don't understand us. We don't understand them. So the only way we understand each other, we sit down. Give your viewpoint, I give mine. And that's how we come to an understanding. Wherever it comes where only one side wants to listen and nobody else, nobody other can. That's the way I feel.
Why do you think the people got mad enough to start all the trouble?
Because they had no business beating up on a brother.
But do you think all of this trouble happened because one man was beaten?
No, it happened because we've been beaten and getting beat, and we just decided to do something about it now. Because they ain't had no business coming over here fighting and shooting up innocent people. If they want to fight somebody, they should go to Vietnam where they need soldiers at.
Why do you think this whole thing started?
Because they ain't had no business jumping one man and beating him half to death.
Was it just the one man that caused the whole problem?
No, we've been getting beat on and pushed around for many years. It's about time they did something about it. And I tell you like this, I'm all for it, and I'm ready to fight anytime.
What do you think the rioting will accomplish? Do you think it will accomplish anything?
Yeah, the accomplish something to teach that we ain't scared to fight back when the fighting occurs.
But do you really think that it will help if more people get hurt?
No, it wouldn't help if more people get hurt, and it wouldn't help if we just sit down and let them ride around kicking doors where people ain't did nothing. Do you know they came around people's houses and shooting up windows just because they had Soul Brother written on it? And I seen this with my own eyes.
Do you mean the police or the National Guard?
The National Guard and them soldiers.
I see.
Do you know how many people have been admitted here, say, within the past 72 hours?
for injuries that happened as a result of the riot?
Approximately. Approximately how many have been treated? Well over 1,000.
And what percentage of those would you say are Negro and what percentage are white?
Well, I would say 90% Negro.
Why has the press coverage been unfair?
I wish I could answer that.
Well, how has it been unfair then?
I feel that it has given too much voice to the administration and not enough to the crowd, the people.
What type of voice would the people have if they were given that voice? I'm attempting to give it to you now.
I think they would have said, in essence, that we want to be let out of this ghetto. We want to have better education and better jobs, better places to live, better working conditions. I think they would have said, as a massive whole, quit giving me a piece of the pie and give me my share. And this has not been done, and for this reason I feel that they have rebelled to a great degree.
Why do you think all of the trouble started?
Well, that's hard to determine. I would probably say there was 2 or 3 reasons for it. One would be the fact that a lot of the people in this particular neighborhood are dissatisfied with the way the present administration is running the city. And number 2, it could be just people out for kicks, which I think is the biggest. I think that's the most part.
I talked to several Negroes at a housing project south of here, and they all seem to agree, or at least they said that they thought that police brutality was the main thing that the people were disturbed about. Do you think that's true, or what do you think about that?
I disagree on that. Unless we get pretty close around here. As far as police brutality is concerned, I don't think that there's too much of that going on in Newark any place. Being a policeman myself, I would say that everybody's been pretty liberal as far as I know of. I haven't heard of any cases of police brutality. Of course, there's always probably, there's a rotten apple in every barrel, as the saying goes. So there might be a few, but I haven't heard of any.
Thank you very much.
Do you think anything should be done to the Negroes or done for them?
Oh, yeah, get better buildings, facilities, and stuff like that.
That's probably what it all started, because they think they're not getting a fair shake, you know? They probably look for jobs, and they probably don't get a chance, you know? They need a chance, that's what it is.
Do your friends and neighbors feel this way also?
Oh, I think so, yeah. The people I talk to say the same thing, that they should get a little, they need attention, that's what it is, you know?
What detachment of the Guard do you belong to?
112th.
Have you participated in any of the actual firing yourself?
First time. Hope it's the last.
How do you feel about it?
Gosh. Look. I'm a sociologist. I know what caused this.
What do you think caused it?
Everybody knows. Poverty, unemployment, discrimination. Crap.
You don't look like a sociologist with a steel helmet and olive drab fatigues and an M1 rifle at the ready. How long have you been on duty?
Since Friday.
Thank you.
How long have the lights been out?
Tonight, 20 to 7. 27 have been out.
So you've been about 20 hours without lights.
Yeah. Did you
More
see all
than
the broken windows up there on the side?
Yes, sir.
That time today.
So people were firing from the other buildings.
From that building up there.
Yeah.
Upstairs, they were shooting out. They were shooting. Some cops went in that building up there, and they started shooting from there. They were all around here, tanks and whatnot, stuff around there.
Can you tell me what's happening?
You know what's happening. I don't have too much of an opinion.
Oh, I mean, you must have. You know, the bullets are flying over your head. Or maybe you're firing bullets. Well, what's happening? I mean...
I don't know. I think one thing, I don't think they know what they're firing at. That's one thing.
You don't think the snipers know who they're firing
No,
at?
not the snipers.
The National Guards.
State troops.
Firing at anybody. Yeah.
I think somebody threw something off the building and they was just firing all up in the building for no reason at all.
You mean
to me, it was no reason.
There was firing from the building and
up in the buildings, and I think somebody threw something off the roof. I think it was.
Someone threw something off the roof and immediately they started firing back? Do you think they're necessary here, the National Guard?
Are they unnecessary?
Are they necessary?
No, I don't think so. Really. I think as the National Guard leave, all the snipers and everything will stop.
What do you think? Why did it start?
Why, with the snipers or the whole
thing?
I don't have any different reason. That's the same thing. I think it's tension build up. I think.
Well, why the tension? What was the cause of the tension? What made the people so uptight that they had to start doing something?
The only thing I can say, I guess they've seen it happening everywhere else, a lot of else places, and maybe they figure would nothing be done unless this happened.
Did you join in any of the looting or any of the sniping at all?
No.
Do you know anybody who did? The reason I'm asking is I'd like to know why they did it.
Well, I know some people, I'll say, that was in the looting maybe, and they said, from what I gathered from them, they just got things, a chance to see that they got things that they never had before. They never could afford maybe, and things like that. Just got it.
What do you think of Governor Hughes's reaction to people very coolly looting stores? He was very shocked by that. What do you think of that? What do you think of his reaction?
Being shocked of
people going into stores and taking out merchandise. What do you think of his reaction, of his being shocked?
Well, maybe he should be shocked if he never seen people who was, that poor. So poor that they stores.
So poor that they what?
That they have to go in stores to take things that they need. But he should be shocked, because, where he grew up at and everything, and probably he never had a case like that. He never had to take anything like that. He always had what he wanted.
What do you do, by the way, for a job?
I'm a timekeeper for Engelhardt Industries in Union.
You like it?
Yes, I like it.
Are you treated all right?
Yes.
Color, any problem?
No, not there.
Not there?
No, it's nothing.
How about the people around here? Does color, how does the color make them different? Which may sound like a stupid question, but answer it anyway, please.
How does it make them different? Towards who?
How is it like to have a black face or even a brown face here? If you can, and that's a loaded question.
Well, I look at it like this. I graduated from high school. I have a high school diploma. Some places I can go, I find it very difficult to get a job. Whereas white people, I would have to go to college to get this job. Maybe at certain places. Whereas some white people, they can come out of school and know somebody and get a position just like that. And I found that even to be so on my job. If you know somebody, you actually can get a high position. Then you don't have to go through all the formalities. Like me, I may have to be at top. I have to work my way up maybe years. Whereas somebody may know the boss's son or something like that. He come there and they sort of saw him around. He work on a program sort of like for a while, and he's got a position just like that.
It's more of a question than of where you work, at least. It's more of a question of knowing somebody than a race question. Or is it a race question?
No, it's not a race question where I work at, though. It's definitely, no, it's not a race question.
I'm in the emergency room of Newark City Hospital. A 12-year-old boy, Michael Pugh of 15th Avenue in Newark, was just brought in an ambulance. Michael has been shot in the side. The incident occurred while he was taking the garbage down. The bullet passed completely through his body, and he is not expected to live.
Do you think the National Guard are necessary?
They are necessary for the purpose of keeping the peace.
Are they doing their job?
Every man is doing his job. Do you think that one man is not performing his duty out here? Isn't there peace on earth here, and amongst all people here around on earth at the present time? You hear any noise? Do you hear anything going on?
You see the gentlemen over there, we call them the National Guard, Yuen and your family, we perform for us, that we have built for them, and you gonna tell me, ask me that question? That is the question you answer for yourself. That is my son, or your daughter, or your son, or anyone else's son. Performing a duty to be performed by the government, by the people.
According to any society going, as you know of, in any so-called, according to Caucasian way of thinking, civilized country, if you were raised in that country, where is the right to commit murder?
It's not, but I'm saying.
I don't think it's
right. I'm saying they're not normal.
That's what you say. You think it's right.
No, I said I don't think they're normal.
Yeah, but you also said you think he's right.
Right. I say he thinks he's right.
How can he think this?
Because he's not normal. He doesn't think the way this
That's what
person.
you said before. You said, well, he thinks he's right.
That's right. He does. He thinks he's right.
But he must be. If he thinks he's right, he must be sicker than anybody else.
True, he's sick. But that's what's the shame about the whole thing.
As a high school teacher, what do you intend to say to your students about this? They will ask you about this. What do you expect to say to them?
Well, basically, what I intend to tell them is what I've seen, people I've talked to, Negro people, they don't even know what the heck the whole thing is about. They're all against it. Most of them are against it. Most of them are working people. They say this is ruining their life. I was talking to the priest up the street, and he seems to think it's the administration that's caused the whole thing.
Mayor Denizio's administration.
Yeah.
Why does he think this?
He says that Mayor Denizio hasn't been acting, that his administration is a bunch of, like, political puppets. The Negroes who are on his administration are political puppets, and they're not doing a damn thing. This is what his opinion is.
You don't think much of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking from a guy that's been out.
You live in Newark?
No, I live in Patterson. And if they go off in Patterson, I know one thing, that National Guard will be ready for us.
The day after this program was recorded, the National Guard troops pulled out of Newark. The riot was over. You have heard a documentary montage of voices recorded in Newark, New Jersey on the night of July 16, 1967, in what proved to be the final night of the Newark riot. The reporters were Ronnie Watkins and Bob Ortiz. This program was produced for Pacifica Radio by your narrator, Mike Hodel.
That program came to you recorded, and this is KPFA and KPFB in Berkeley.